you can see that I am currently sitting at over $113,000 since the launch of my program. Now, what I will say about that $113,000 is that a good significant portion of that, in terms of like when I first started out, was actually made in my first month. Someone told me that when I started my program, I would currently be at over $100,000 in terms of revenue within the first year, as well as also monetize on YouTube. I probably would have laughed. But here I am in September, or the end of September rather, of 2023, and I am currently sitting at over $113,000 in terms of revenue for my program that I launched in September of 2022, as well as I have been officially monetized on YouTube as of July of this year. Now, I want to actually go through what I feel would be my version of an income report. That way you can see, since the last time that I did this video, which was probably about a month or two ago, of where my income currently sits today. So we're currently taking a look at my Stripe account as of right now, and as you can see, really exciting, I do actually have some money that's coming in tomorrow, which is always good to see. But what I actually want you to do is actually take a look at the gross volume section, which is located here. And taking a look at that gross volume, you can see that I am currently sitting at over $113,000 since the launch of my program. Now, what I will say about that $113,000 is that a good significant portion of that, in terms of like when I first started out, was actually made in my first month. Here, this is just showing all of the income that I've been able to receive through my Stripe account, which is connected directly to my program. And basically Stripe, if you're not familiar, is a third-party processor of payments. But I actually started out processing payments via PayPal. So the PayPal income that I received, which was about, I'll say $3,000 before I moved over to Stripe, is not factored into this number. So if I were to actually factor that in, I'm sitting at a little over $116,000 in terms of revenue since I first started my program. But that very first month of me starting, I actually grossed over $14,000. And part of it was, I think, a variety of reasons. I did a launch. So it was the first time that I had ever put my program out there. I was very intentional about making sure that I got the information out there in terms of my launch, making sure that I had built my email list up and I was actually emailing those individuals who did sign up for my email list. And I also had a private Facebook group in which I was very intentional about how I interacted with those who chose to be a part of my community. I'll say that the other piece that really stood out for me, at least in terms of how I've been able to continuously grow, is that I've also continued to reevaluate my program, meaning that although I created the bulk of my program in last year, so before September of 2022 when I actually launched, there are elements that I found throughout the course of, just going through this last year where there were opportunities for me to improve, or maybe to even add more content. So I've been very intentional about making sure that I've also listened to my students and listened to my audience and just listened to the environment around me in regards to what it was that they actually wanted to hear. What I'll say too is that the other piece in terms of you actually starting a program that I feel is really important is to get your pricing right. I've played a lot with my pricing over the course of the last year in regards to me launching my program. And while I still feel that it's at a point where it feels good as of right now, I know that there's an opportunity for me to probably take a look at pricing and adjust it at some point. When I first started out, I started out with beta students. So these beta students were really just helping me in regards to being able to see what was going to actually work in terms of my program, while I had put some things together in terms of PowerPoints and was also meeting with them on a one-on-one basis. It wasn't anything as extensive as what I currently have now. So I was only charging those beta students $600 in order to be able to work with me. And when I think about it, although I was undercutting myself in terms of that $600 that I was charging, there was a valuable lesson, or rather a lot of valuable lessons that were learned with me going about that beta process. Not only did did I get a lot of feedback in regards to the program, but I ultimately also learned how I could actually go about helping individuals in terms of the niche that I was focused on to actually yield some level of success. And I wanted to make sure that I had that down before I even started working in a group setting, which is ultimately what my next step was. And with working in a group setting, it allowed me the opportunity to really be able to scale from just doing one-on-one. So now I was doing live coaching calls with a group, anywhere from 5 to 10 students who had signed up every single week. I eventually, I'll say like the middle of this year, moved to group coaching calls that were actually every other week versus doing them on a weekly basis. Again, allowing me the opportunity to be able to scale. And as I continued to scale, I also continued to really reiterate how I went about my program and the content that was within my program, so ultimately change the pricing. Now, I do want to do another major like revamp or rehaul of my program at some point, and that will probably include me then raising the price. What I encourage you to do is to really assess where you're at in terms of your niche before you determine whether or not a price increase is exactly what you want to do. You want to be very intentional about pricing, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're getting paid exactly what you're worth, but you also want to make sure that you are not overpricing yourself to the point where you're not actually getting students. So if you're thinking about starting a program for your own niche, and believe me, there's a lot of great niches that are out there, e-commerce for one, digital marketing, anything related to AI at this point, like there's a lot of great niches that are out there in terms of you being able to create a program around it. But with that being said, you want to make sure that you're also able to price your program appropriately, so you actually have students that are wanting to pay that price and also seeing the value that you're ultimately bringing for that program. Now, the next thing that I'll say in regards to my income report, sort of switching gears, is the YouTube piece in regards to monetization. So I was able to get monetized on YouTube in July of this year, and I'm actually really proud of that. And while YouTube monetization has not been extremely lucrative for me in terms of actually getting paid through AdSense, it's still something that I hold near and dear to my heart, because I know how much work I put in order to even get to the point of saying that I'm actually monetized on YouTube. And for those who aren't familiar, YouTube monetization isn't something that happens automatic. Like, you literally have to put in a lot of work to get there. You have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers and a minimum of 4,000 watch hours within the last 365 days before you can even apply for the program. And when I say apply, you really do have to go through this process with YouTube / Google in order for you to then be able to be accepted and ultimately monetize your content or get paid from your content. So at this point, I got monetized, I want to say it was towards the middle or end of July of this year. So it really hasn't been that long of me being monetized, but I do want to show you where I'm currently sitting right now from a YouTube monetization perspective and the income that I've been able to bring in. Now, I do want to note that this is 100% based on my other YouTube channel. This is not based on subscribers to clients. So this is 100% based on my channel, The Business Recruiter, where I currently have over 3,300 subscribers. So if you take a look at my analytics and we actually go over here to revenue, you will see where I'm currently sitting, at least as of the last 28 days, which is $61.06. But if I actually scroll down just a bit, you can see where I am from a monthly perspective in terms of that revenue. So when I first got monetized, it was in July, so I made $46 that month. I did a little bit better in August, and I was able to make $55 that month. And as we're taking a look in September, it looks like I'm actually trending towards being able to hit more than what I made in August, and I'm currently sitting at about $54. Again, this isn't any life-changing money at all, but it just goes to show you that in terms of you being able to get monetized on YouTube and what you're actually working for, the income potential that is there. Now for me, I'm still grateful in regards to the $46 or the $54 that I've been able to make. All of that money will go into me being able to edit my videos the way that I want them. So the money will definitely be leveraged and used in a responsible way and go back into my business. But again, it just goes to show that every little dollar can help, and it can definitely be impactful in terms of your revenue. Now, the other thing that I want to show you that I think is actually really cool is that your videos that you make in, let's say, months ago or even years ago can still help you in terms of monetization. The video that is actually tracking the best for me right now is a video that I made earlier this year, but the second video is actually a video that I made after that. Now, granted, the video that I made earlier this year is leading the way in terms of how much money I've been able to make from that video, and that's just the number of views that I've been able to get. That particular video, this is the one that I'm referencing here, actually has over 8,000 views currently, so it's really driving a lot of revenue for me right now from a YouTube perspective because people just love that video. I would tell you, and I would definitely encourage you, if you are at a point where you're thinking about, your videos and does it matter what I put out right now, it actually does, because those videos can definitely help you. I'm still putting out videos on my TBR channel right now, and those videos aren't performing nearly as good as this one video that I created like 6 months ago. So again, the content that you put out there does matter, and you want to be intentional from the very beginning, even if you haven't exactly gotten to that point of being able to get monetized. Now, I don't say any of this or share any of this to brag in any way, shape, or form. It's really to show you that there's an opportunity out there for you to be able to do this for your own niche, meaning that what I've done isn't rocket science and there's honestly no secrets to it. You can actually do this for your own niche, for whatever you're passionate about, and be able to yield the same results. Now, is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to require a lot of hard work? Yes. But if you're willing to put in that hard work and ultimately be consistent, there's no reason why you can't create a program this year and this time next year have revenue over $100,000. And if you're interested in learning more in regards to how I've been able to do it for myself, as well as just learn some tips and tricks, or even be a part of a community of individuals who are small or aspiring YouTubers who are really interested in starting their own programs, then I have just the resource for you. The first one is going to be my guide that I've actually put together in regards to all of the steps that you need to take and consider in order to get your own program off the ground. I'll be sure to leave that link down below in the description box. That way you can go ahead and grab that. That is a free resource that I've created just for you in order to be able to help you. And then the second resource that I actually have is a Facebook group community. I love Facebook group communities. I think it allows everyone the opportunity to be able to come together and share ideas, and ultimately to be able to really use each other as accountability partners. So I'm going to leave the link down below to my subscribers to clients Facebook group community, because I highly encourage that you join. We're in there talking about a lot of different things, and I think that it's important that you have an accountability partner for anything that you do in life. It just helps you to be consistent. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, then be sure to give me a thumbs up, as well as, again, if you're not a part of that Facebook community, subscribers to clients, I'm going to go ahead and leave that link down below in the description box, and I highly encourage that you join. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.